Speaking of sounding alarms, I think North Carolina fans almost sounded an alarm at the first half of their game against College of Charleston. Tar Heels end up pulling away with it in the second half. Armando Bacot, Jeff and I were texting about this, took one shot in the first half. One shot. Jeff Goodman, how does this happen?
It can't happen. But it can happen when you have Caleb Love on your team. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. That's the problem. It is. Like Caleb Love, know where your bread is buttered here. Inside out. That's how you've got to play if you're North Carolina. You've got arguably the best big man and one of the most efficient players in the country. Get him the damn ball. Now, part of it was on Bacot, too. Part of it was on him in the first half. But I'm sure when Hubert went in that locker room, he looked at that dude, those guys, RJ Davis, too, at fault, and Caleb Love, and he probably said, hey, do you know who the hell we have over there? Let me introduce you to him. Get him the effing ball.
Do you know, well, first of all, Armando Bacot had 27 points and 5 rebounds in the second half. So, right. I think you're probably right. He took 12 shots and 12 free throws in the second half. But I love how you're just out here. Caleb Love had 25 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, just a single turnover, and went 8 for 17 from the floor. And Goodman's out here dragging him. My man just had a career game. That's a great game. And you're just out here
saying, get the big guy the ball. Get him the ball. Hey, he's still the best.
Can I just say one thing? Speaking of North Carolina fans, like if you want to get a shirt, check out this shirt. You can get a shirt like this in the merch store. The knocked out shirt, the K out shirt with the scores from the scores from
Pretty
the
nice.
That's
game.
A sick shirt.
Yeah,
great modeling there. Field of 68.shop. Field of 68.shop for those.
We need a better model than Dauster, by the way.
We do.
You've watched that.
We can't afford one yet, though. So as soon as we can afford one, maybe Tom Brady will jump on for us.
Oh wow, one could only hope. I want to pick your guys' brain on this. One of the big transfers this season was Pete Nance coming from Northwestern to North Carolina.
I want to pick your brain on this. I want to pick your brain.
Well, people love his versatility. And that's why he's got great size. He has the ability to be a 3-level scorer. But to me, he's been so inconsistent. So how would you rate how he fits into this North Carolina system? Will he be more effective? Are we going to see better than 2 for 5, 7 points? It's meh.
Yeah. It's been very, very blah. But you know what? You know who was blah last year early? Brady Manick. He was blah for the first half of the year. And that was the big reason why we were killing Carolina, because they were losing the teams by 20 plus. Inconsistent. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the word, Rob. They were soft. Caleb's not going to like it when he hears me say they were soft, because he still denies it. But they were. And then Brady Manick, he flipped it. They figured him out. They figured out how to play. Hubert figured out, honestly, that he needed Brady Manick, and that was the best way to play, with a big who could step out and really shoot the ball. So I'm not giving up on Pete Nance yet, but he's not Brady Manick. I know he shot 43% from 3 last year. He is not the shooter that Brady Manick was, period.
Yeah, there's a difference between a guy that can make threes and a guy who's a shooter.
Yeah.
Right. Brady Manick is a shooter. And I also love
there's a difference between shooters and makers.
Right. Yes.
Big difference.
Yes. I love how Brady Manick, like when he was in the Big 12, everyone was like, oh, this dude's soft. Like he'll never be anything. Yeah. There's no way he could play in the Big 12. And he goes to North Carolina. And in the second half of the season, like he's the toughest dude on that team. He kind of set a tone for that. He took on a leadership role in the second half of that season. And I wonder if that's something that's missing from this group right now. Like we've seen North Carolina did not play great tonight against Charleston. They turned it on in the second half, but they gave up a 50 spot in the first half to Charleston. And look, Charleston's a good Goodman major. Pat Kelsey, all the respect in the world. They love to run. You can't give up 50 points at home in a half to a mid-major. You just can't do it. Like you've got to be better.
Where's the defense, Rob? It was HTM defense. Hope they miss.
Rob, we have a Pete Nance expert on this podcast, by the way. Did you know that? We have a Northwestern expert.
I don't know about Northwestern expert. I know heartbroken many a times from seeing some of the play that has played out. But that being said,
what do you think?
I wish Pete Nance. Pete Nance?
What do you think he can be that guy for Carolina?
I want him to be more aggressive and be more assertive with his offensive game. If he's going to be that guy, you have Armando Bacot. You got so many great pieces around you, Caleb Love, but you can be that guy too. And yes, it takes a little bit of time to get integrated into a system. But at what point are you going to be that tough MFer and try to get yours? And that's what I want to see out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of on Carolina on their guards too. And I guess that's the hardest part for me with Caleb Love. Like, you've already done it, dude. Like, the biggest thing you have right now is for me, it would be RJ Davis and Caleb Love. Make sure those big guys are happy and then get your own. You're going to get your shots, Caleb. And RJ, you don't need them that much. You're going to pick your spots. Make sure you figure out where Pete Nance fits within this team and this offense.
And it's going to take a little bit of time. And it takes, I think, every single team when you start out a season, a little bit of time to relearn how to play together, readjust to college basketball, the pace. It's one thing going against each other in practices for the last month and a half. But when you finally get to game speed, you get to playing other teams. It's just going to take time, I think, for everybody. We've seen some slow starts from teams. I don't think it's time by any means to sound the alarms for North Carolina. They're fine. They end up taking care of business. They crossed the century mark tonight. Dauster, you have any worries about North Carolina?
I mean, no, not really, because they really are a team when they can turn it on when they need to, which is.
We think they did it last year.
They did it last year. They've done it twice this season already. Like, maybe it's just something where they have the ability to kind of coast, and then when they need to turn it on, just boom, things change and they take off. That's a risky way to play. You know, if you go up against someone that's a little bit better than Charleston, right? You're not going to be able to. Someone that has a center that can maybe match up with Armando a little bit more than what Charleston has. But I'm not that concerned with them yet. But I do think what we've seen so far this season, there really is no like best team, and we'll get into this conversation a little bit with Kentucky and Duke later on. We haven't really talked about Houston yet, and they haven't really played anyone, but they've steamrolled two people. So like, I do think that there are a lot of really good teams in college basketball this year, and I think that's a good thing for the sport. And a lot of them are blue bloods, and I think that's a good thing for the sport as well.